It's okay.
I'm not angry. Except when you keep repeating, you're angry. And that shit's fucking annoying. Like a fucking gnat at a barbecue. Just bugging the fuck out of me.
Good. I want you to say, I'm angry. It's okay. I'll process my anger. I love myself. Woozah.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
And boom, episode 16. Running out of outfits. Have no outfits to wear for these goddamn things anymore for the video. I'm like recycling shit. Right now I'm just wearing this hoodie because I'm actually wearing a tank top I wore before in a previous episode. And I was like, yep, can't keep wearing the same shit on here because that looks weird. But I'm like, you know what? I might have to because I don't have that much goddamn clothes. You know, I put one of these out every Wednesday. Don't have enough clothes for that. So yeah, you're going to get some repeat shit. I was going to wear like the Venom shirt on here, but I was like, oh shit, I wore that already. Can't wear it again, but nah. You're going to start seeing some duplicate outfits. I don't have that much outfits, people. You know what I'm saying? Now, unless I go to Walmart and fucking rack up on $2 tees, you're going to see repeat outfits. So that's why I got this hoodie on. This is just, you know, covering up a damn tank top I wore before. But yeah, that's this episode, running out of outfits. But anyway, what's up, everyone? No one can respond. I don't know why people ask that question. I listen to other people's podcasts, and I just want to know how everyone's doing. And it's like, yeah, it's not live. I mean, if it was live, it made sense. But yeah, just wanted to say that. And speaking of other people's podcasts, I'm going to actually talk about another podcast, a very popular one. But before that, I got a question about radio shows, right? So it wasn't this morning. It's like every morning. Every morning, I'm going to drive to work, zone out, kind of actually think about things to do, like, topics for here. I actually think about, skits, and how to make them better, how to record better, what kind of equipment I need. I think about all that shit during my drive, right? So there's this radio station, don't know what it is, honestly. There's this show called The Jubal Show. I guess it's in the mornings. It's like the morning show. Don't know anything about it. I'm just gonna, go off of what I hear, right? So first of all, it sounds like a bunch of white people. That's cool. Whatever. But it's like they have this segment on there where it's I guess it's like, people who dated and then got ghosted, and then you call the person and you find out why you're not calling me back, what's going on and stuff. And I'm like, is this shit real? That's my question to you guys. Is this shit real? Because it kind of like, it's like that in between line. Because if you guys like remember like Jerry Springer and Maury and all that shit, I always wondered, is it really real? I mean, because at least in Jerry Springer, like some of these fights, like you see them fight, and then you see like blood, and it's not like the fucking WWE and shit that like they're doing shit to get cut. So it's like, I'll see like black eyes on Jerry Springer, and I'm like, is this shit real? And you never know. It's like, it's half fake, half real. So with these radio shows, I think the same thing, because like the stories are all the same, and like I don't know who their demographic is, but all the people sound alike. So it sounds like it's probably them just making up different storylines. But it's like girl calling like, yeah, I dated this guy, everything went well, and then he never calls me back. And then they call the guy, and she's on the line. She's supposed to be all quiet, and he's like, yeah, man. And then it's always some prick. The guy's like a prick. Like he was like, yeah, man, she was good for the night, but she's not my favorite. I got favorites and stuff, right? And then the guy from the radio gets Jubal. I don't know if that's the name of the guy or that's the name of the show. Like I said, I know nothing about it, but he's like, yeah, man, why don't you call her back? He's like, that's kind of rude, and blah, 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 blah. And then they do the same segment over and over and over and over and over, right? And it's just like, it's not even like, nobody fights. You know what I'm saying? And it'll be some of them sound fucked up. They'll be like, yeah, he slept with me one night and then never called me back. And then the other day he pretended like he didn't know me. Like, why, when you get on the radio, why are you not fighting? Like, or, cursing? Everything is all like, like fucking business casual. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was on the phone and girl played me out, like, she's like, oh, and now she's dating your best friend. I'm like, bitch, you know what I'm saying? I go crazy. I'm like, bitch, you whore. I sounded so white when I said that. But anyway, I'll go crazy, you know? And I'll be like, I'll even curse at Jubal. Man, fuck you, Jubal. Stop talking, you know? Something. It just sounds so, like, staged. And I'm wondering if this shit is real, you know? And I used to think that with Jerry Springer. I was like, I heard it was fake. But then you see, like, real punches thrown. You see, like, real black eyes and shit. I'm like, wait, so what the fuck? I'm like, I mean, if this is fake, somebody's getting paid a lot of money, because I just saw this guy get a busted nose on fucking TV. So it's like, it's that thin line. Is this real or fake? Because I want to hear people react like crazy. I want somebody to be like, motherfucker, I'm coming to your house. I'm going to burn everything in your house. I want to hear shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's because I'm from Newark and I'm used to ghetto radio or some shit. It just sounds too fucking cordial. It's like, oh man, well that wasn't nice. And I hope to never see you again. And oh, great burn. This guy's going to be like, oh man, I'm fucking torn up. I'm never going to do this shit again. I learned my lesson. But yeah, it's like, even the people on the radio, they just sound like, they're like, yeah, I told him off for you. And he'll be saying something like, hey guy, that was fucked up, or that was messed up, and I'm going to hang up on you. I'm like, oh wow, Jesus, you're the hero, Jubal. And then the girl's like, thanks guys, I love you so much. And it's like, okay. And I should have, actually Googled if this shit is real or not. But you guys let me know. I don't listen to much radio, but that's why. That's why when I hear that shit, like, on the radio, I'm like, okay, I'm done with radio. And I just play the same songs from the fucking 1980s, 1990s, whatever the fuck. So, yeah, it was kind of weird hearing that shit. I'm like, it's a thin line. You can never tell. Anyway, if you see me keep looking to the left, it's because, for some reason, my son, he likes to bring all the kids from the community in my house. So it's like fucking daddy daycare right now. Yesterday, there was so much goddamn kids in my house. I was like, who are you? Like, I'm watching TV, like, I'm watching shows on Netflix and shit, and then there are these kids, random kids, all different races, just walking by me, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? So I gotta, like, stop them, like, hi, I'm Gio's dad. Who are you? And let me tell you, some of these kids, man, some of these kids look grown and shit. I'm like, who the fuck are you playing with? My son is 8. It looks like he plays with fucking 16-year-olds. And I'm like, this guy, do you shave, man? What the fuck? He was like, oh no, he's in my grade. I'm like, that's even worse. I'm like, did he stay back 12 times? This guy looks like he's about to get his permit and shit. So yeah, like, they'll pass by and I'm like, hey, I'm Gio's dad. Who are you? And these names these days, oh my god, like, I can't speak because my kids' names, people be like, they can't say my kids' names, so I think Iris is the normal one. But Gio, they were like, for some reason that's hard, and it's just 3 letters. It's Gio, and some people say Gio. Like, no, this ain't fucking a Street Fighter 2 character, asshole. It's Gio. Anyway, so I'll introduce myself, and then I gotta know about these kids. I'm like, they're in my house. I'm like, hey, do you have cat allergies? Because we have 2 cats. Like, I need to know things, so I ask them questions. It's not to be like a dick. It's just so these kids survive in the house. I don't want a kid come in here. He has cat allergies and just fucking passes out, and So yeah, I asked them for their names, and man, some of these names are insane. The one of the most craziest, like, my son's 2 favorite kids, one's name is, what, I can't even say it. It's actually like, how, like, you're trying to catch somebody's attention and you're like, that's his name. And you guys think you're thinking I'm exaggerating. You think this is a comedy podcast, he's got to say something funny. No, it's not. That is his name, Achim. That's his name. And I shit you not, because I said it 100 times to make sure I say it right when he comes in. And I say, hey, sir, what's your name? He goes, it's Achim. I was like, okay. And it actually sounds like, that's how it sounds. So that's his name. And one of his students, I don't know if he's there anymore. I think he moved. But last year he had a friend name, and this was the best name ever. And if I ever get another pet, this is what's gonna be my pet's name. His name was Abasilis Busha. I can't spell it, and when I write it on here, I'm gonna have my son come up here and try to spell it as best as he can. Because I was like, that's his name? Yep, Abasilis Busha. And I was like, wow, that's a powerful name. I like it. And my next pet is going to be named Abasilis Busha. But anyway, yeah, it's just like a daycare in here, man. Yesterday, and it's funny because these parents don't give a fuck. I mean, like, there was all these kids in my house, and it was late. It was like, it's 8:30. It was dark outside, and I'm like, these kids are still in my house, and there is no parents around. I'm like, do they not worry about where their kids are? I mean, eventually a parent came, but it was a parent for 2 kids. The other kids' parents didn't show. So it was like, yeah, he was like, are my kids here? And I'm like, yeah, they're downstairs, blah, blah, blah. But it's just so weird, man. It's like, yeah, I had your kids in my house for a few hours. You don't know anything about me. You know, I could be a fucking killer. People already call me crazy. So it's like, yeah, you left your kid in here for 5 hours, but it's crazy how that is, my son. And I don't know, man. Some days I'm just like, I need to get these fucking kids the fuck out of this house because I can't be me, man. You know, I can't curse and shit. I gotta watch what I say. I hate that shit. Anyway, yeah. So if you see me, the whole point of that shit was if you see me keep looking to the left, I don't want these kids walking in here. I mean, the door is closed, but I don't want them to walk in here because that's kind of weird. But anyways, what else I had for today? Damn, I just looked at my phone, and you know, that's how shitty my memory is. Oh. So, you know, you ever talk to those people, right, who are like very horoscope heavy and shit? So, kind of gets to me where like I see posts and then I see people just talk about it, like, you know, it's Virgo season. It's Virgo season. That means the highest star is in the air. That means opportunities are rising. You got to strike while the opportunity is hot or something. Those people who are just so heavy on horoscope. It's like, okay. I never got into that, man. I'm a Scorpio, and I never just been like, oh, man, Scorpio season. You know what? It's time to get the stingers out. You know what? It's time to fight for your rights or some shit. I don't know. You know, what the fuck is all that shit? And I must be sitting too close to this goddamn mic because I see my fucking levels are spiking. But yeah, I never understood that, man. I'm like, why are people so horoscope heavy these days? It's just, they're like, the third star is out. That means, you have to, this is the opportunity to make money, so grasp it. And I'm like, oh, okay. That doesn't sound crazy, huh? Sorry to all my horoscope heavy friends out there. It's just, I never got that shit, man. I don't understand it. Like, what does that mean? Like, Scorpios, you're like, that means love is around the corner. I'm like, oh, yeah? I'm already in love. Is there another love? What does that mean? Oh, shit. There's so much friends that I know that's horoscope heavy. They always say that. Whenever their season come up, it's Virgo season, it's Libra season. I'm like, okay, cool. Gemini season is here. I'm like, oh, okay. What does that mean? Huh? Huh, guys? What's that mean? But anyway, one of those friends I'm talking about is also a friend that, like, you ever get those people, like, see, I'm up early, right? I'm an early bird. So I'm up early, so I get out to work early. So, the people I see in the morning, and when I used to go to the gym, I don't go to the gym anymore. I got my own goddamn gym. You know what I'm saying? So, when I'm up early and I see these people up early, I always see people talking on the phone with somebody. And I'm like, Normally it's women, right? And I'm like, I wonder if they're just using that, like in the gym, at least. I was wondering, maybe they're using that because they feel uncomfortable, people looking at them and shit. So maybe they, that's their way of, getting, comfortable, whatever. But then I'm like, I started seeing it at people at work too, and I'm like, And I don't understand why people would be like, hey man, it's 6:30. Who the fuck are you talking to at 6:30 in the morning? And it's like full conversation. It's not like just like, hey, yeah, I forgot to take out the steak. Can you take out the steak? That's what's for dinner. It's nothing like that, right? It's a full blown conversation. Like, oh yeah, and she was like this, and I was like this, and she was like this, and I was like, and she was like, huh, and I was like, and I'm like, what the, who? And it was at the gym at first, and yeah, with the gym, I was like, okay, but at work, I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm like, they'll have full blown conversations with somebody on the other line, and you're like, who the fuck are you talking to at 6 in the morning? Like, all the people I know, and I have fucking tons of friends. I have too many friends. I make friends easy. Y'all know this already. And I have too many friends. But even that, like, I'm like, okay. None of them, out of the zillion of friends I have, will ever talk to me at 5:30 in the morning or 6 in the morning. Not one of them. Not one of them will be like, oh, let's sit and talk for this long. No, if I'm calling, they're going to ignore my call. Or they'll shoot me a text like, what? It's 6, you know? So I don't understand that shit. Like, who the fuck talks that early? But yeah, it's a lot of people too. And like I said, majority of the time I see it, it's women. Because guys, man, I don't know that another guy that I would talk to. I don't know, even my dad, I'm like, he ain't going to wake up that early to talk to my ass. You know what I'm saying? So it's very weird, those people who do those full-blown conversations in the morning. If you're one of those people, you should comment on my damn page and let me know why you're talking to somebody at 6 in the morning and you're having a full-blown conversation. You should let me know that, you know, or I'm going to just keep making fun of you on the low. Anyway, let me move on from that for every episode I lose more and more friends. Oh, God. So, got to watch what I say. Oh. What was the next topic I had was actually telling him the gym. Been working out, been trying to put out some other shit for you guys, but you know, it's hard. But anyway, so it's working out, and I've been buying more and more machines. You know, a lot of shit's delayed. I said this before in another episode because of this pandemic shit. So like, I have other machines coming in, right? And there was this one machine that I was looking. It's like, I don't like certain machines. There's certain machines that it's like, you can't tell if this is a goddamn exercise machine or a sex machine, right? Because there's this one machine that I never found, you know, useful at all at the gym. It's an ab machine, right? And what it does is like, you're in this seat, right? It got handlebars up top by your ears, and it has these things at the bottom that hook your leg, right? And what you do is you're supposed to crunch, right? But it brings your lower all the way to your fucking head, right? So it's you're like this, right? But like, your face and your crotch get close to each other. So it's like I call it the fucking oral sex machine. It's like trying to make you give yourself oral sex. You're just like, you know. I always found that machine weird, and I didn't like to get on it because I used to think like that. I'm like, why is this machine trying to make me give myself head? I don't like it. I don't like it. And I never found it actually worked. I just felt like it's just a motion thing. It was just fucking rocking back and forth. I'm like, is it trying to get my fucking spine flexible so I could, you know, suck my own wiener? I don't know. So I was never a fan of that machine. And then there's this other machines that's like, there's one that it's supposed to work your hips, whatever. But yeah, it just looks like you're just humping things. Or there was one that puts you in like a downward dog position, and I'm like, I don't feel what the workout is, but sure, okay. Strengthening my downward dog for yoga, I guess. It's just the weirdest shit ever, man. Is like the machines I'm getting are like the basics, you know? You need the basics. Got me a lot. The only different thing that I did, it's not the basics, but I like that thigh one. You know what? That one is like Thigh Master. If y'all remember Thigh Master, that little fucking thing you put between your legs and you squeeze. Because, you know, your boy got nice quads. But, you know, my inner legs, my inner thighs, you know, fatty. You know, a little fatty. So, you know, I need that machine. Of course, the cheapest I found that machine is $800. Ugh. Got that? $800. Ugh. sound effect I make for that, because I'm like, God damn it, expensive ass machine, and everybody wants it because as soon as it goes on sale, it's already sold out. I mean, it's very like you can work your inner and your outer, you know. Because if you look at my legs, I got the teardrops going in. I'm starting to get the teardrops now. If I tan, for some reason I'm brown all over in my white. I got white ass legs. It's so weird. I'm light brown everywhere else, and my legs are fucking white as hell. But anyway, I got the teardrops on the outside coming in. You know, your boy's squatting heavier, and he's getting the strengthuses in. But my inner legs, a little jiggly. I don't mind it, whatever. But I want to get that toned up, and I need that machine. So that machine's coming in, and I can't wait to use it because I'm gonna record it, and I'm gonna show you how to how it looks when a guy does it. When a girl does it, it looks all hot and shit. When a guy does it, it just looks weird. It's like, you know, I'm stretching out my ball sacks. Anyway, I did the fuck I did. Damn, I don't know if it's gonna come out before this. Shit. I did a thing. Yeah, it did. It did. Fashion. I did fashion. I'm trying to get my kids to do more crazy shit with me because, you know, people love kids. I don't know why, but people love kids. So I'm trying to get my kids to do more stuff with me. They enjoyed the process, you know, until the end. Till the end, my son got upset with me because he's like his dad, you know, he wanted to be the star of the show and shit. And I was like, that's cool. Cool, I love it. He wanted the clothes. He said he had some ideas. And I'm like, wow, man, you're just like your damn dad. Crazy. But anyway, the main topic I want to talk about, and it's not that much. It's going to be 9 minutes because I'm trying to keep this to 30 minutes. So, podcast I listened to, right? So it was a real popular one. It was called Call Her Daddy. And now I was into this from the beginning, right? I used to be like, it was I want to say a spin-off because it's not a damn spin-off. It was a copy. There was at the time, there was only 2 girls out there that were, you know, speaking about, you know, the women's side of dating, the women's side of sex, the women's side of everything, right? Women's perspective on everything, right? So, you know, there was two girls. They were comedians. It was Corinne Fisher and Christina Hutchinson, and they had a podcast called Guys We Fucked. And I used to be a fan of that, and then they switched to when people switch, by the way, if you're on a certain platform that I listen to and then you switch to another platform, probably don't go to it, you know? Like Joe Rogan, I used to be listening to Joe Rogan's everything, but when he went to Spotify, I haven't listened to not one fucking Joe Rogan thing. But anyway, they didn't even go to Spotify. They went to this thing called Luminary or whatever the fuck. So I didn't even know what it is, and this is subscription. Damn it. I said subscription-based thing. Anyway, you have to pay for it, and I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna pay for this. Anyway, what they did was just like, you know, what women liked, what was dating like, you know, what were the ex-boyfriends like, and all this shit. And it's very entertaining to hear a women's side of everything, right? I loved it, right? Then they switched and then whatever, and then Call Her Daddy was, you know, it was at the time, I don't even know these girls' names like that. I think this is called Alex and Sophia. Yeah, Alex and Sophia. So they did their own thing. And it was like the same thing, but they were a little more raunchy. Like the other 2 are actual comedians. So, you know, they focus on other topics too. Like they got a little political sometimes, but the other 2 and Call Her Daddy, they were just all straight, everything about sex and dating and sex, right? So I used to be a huge fan of both, right? So I listened to it when Guys We Fucked went to Luminary, whatever the fuck they went to. I was like, stop watching that. Started tuning into Call Her Daddy. And then the first 2 episodes, I'm like, ooh, it's kind of rough to hear these girls' voices because they have that, you know, yeah, and for sure, like for yeah, you know. And I was like, oh, that bothers me. But then, you know, after going through it, I'm like, yeah, these girls are actually kind of funny. And, you know, and in the beginning, I'm like, oh, this is going to blow up. I already knew because I listened to tons of podcasts, a lot of shit. So I'm like, oh, this is going to blow up really quick, right? Because they're very entertaining, and the tips they would give ladies, you know. And I'm like, and then the name Call Her Daddy it was fucking awesome. So I'm like, but I also said, I'm like, this is gonna blow up, and this is gonna, you know, this is gonna end because there's so much sex advice you can give and talking about sex you can do, right? It always comes to an end when it's on like one topic like that. I'm like, they're not gonna do this. They can't have, and a gazillion tips on sex, right? And dating. I'm like, they were both single, and I was like, ooh, it's gonna also change when they get boyfriends, because that's what always would happen, right? Because when you get a boyfriend, the boyfriend ain't gonna want you talking about exes. Boyfriends don't want that. They're not gonna want you to be like, oh, talk about how great the sex was with my ex. They're not gonna want you to talk about that on the radio while you're dating them. So I was like, it's gonna change, and it's gonna end, when they get boyfriends, and when they run out of talking about sex, I want to see what they talk about, right? So then they had a falling out, and they went their separate ways, whatever, and then they all have their own shows. But then, like, and I stopped as soon as they split. I thought they were perfect for each other. As soon as they split, I stopped listening to it. But like, I started listening to some of their independent shit now. I mean, they still call her daddy, but it's just one of them, and Sophia's doing her own thing. So I was listening to him, and I'm like, it's not the same. Anyway, the thing is now, like, it's like I said, is like there's rarely, like, she'll try to throw in some like sex topic, but they both got boyfriends now, and like all the sex talk now, it's like about mental health. That's a big thing in fucking podcasts these days. Everybody's talking about mental health, and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, I don't want to be all depressed listening to podcasts, but like, so how did you make it through this? And when you try to kill yourself, how did that feel? And now that's what they become. And like, she'll throw in one thing. She'll be like, oh, this is how you jerk off a guy, part 17. And it's just like, no. And I knew it. I'm like, man, I was like, this is gonna blow up, but I can't wait to see when they stop talking about sex, what they're gonna talk about. And sure enough, man, they gave so many blowjob tips. It's like, okay, I mean, there's nothing else more you can do. I mean, you can't go on to like, it's blowjob tip number 375. No, you can't. You only need a couple things. That could have probably ended at 10. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah. Now listening to it, I'm like, what are we talking about here? It's all mental health shit. You're like, how was it when your parents punched you in the eye? And it's just so awkward. It's like, this shit used to be entertaining. I used to be like, oh, I can't wait to see what date they went on. They used to go on like dates and talk about the dates, and like, and you had to like guess celebrities that they slept with just from like, what they were saying. They'd be like, I slept with this football player. He's from here, but I'm not gonna tell you the name. But then they'll talk about him and shit. Be like, yeah, he's too aggressive, and one's penis too small, one's ginormous, couldn't do it. And I love stories like that, and that's why I was so tuned in. And then they had the falling out, and now they're talking about mental health, and then you're just like, ugh, what happened? But it doesn't matter what happened. You know why? Because they're both making millions of dollars right now, especially Call Her Daddy. They just got bought by Spotify, so she's making like, well, I don't know, $20 million. So even though her podcast started off with sex, now she's just interviewing people, and she's horrible too. She's not like what she's not one of those interviewers that could just do it off the top of the dome. She's like, she has a pen and paper, and she's like all the shit she wrote down, and she's like, so then she holds the paper up. She's like, so how was your childhood with your mother? And you're like, oh God, we turn into a therapist. Before you were just talking about how to give somebody the Gluck 9000, and now you're fucking you're dissecting people's past. But yeah, man, that's why you got to keep it random. I did topic heavy in the beginning just to stay on course, because I never stay on course on anything. So, and I might bring some topics back, but it's like, you can't always do that, man. I knew that shit was gonna come to an end, and they had a falling out, and ugh. Now they're talking about sandals and shit they purchased at American Eagle, and I'm like, cool, okay. There goes the fun. It was fun while it lasted, though. But if you haven't heard that, I would like, I don't even know if they play the old episodes, because they had a really bad falling out. So, but yeah, if they have the old episodes, you should listen to them. They were very entertaining. You just got to get past their voices. A lot of people can't get past their voices. I mean, certain points in the beginning it did get annoying, but I think they fixed that. But anyway, but yeah. I was like, man, that podcast was good. And then like I'm trying to get into like, apparently everybody likes true crime shit, and I'm like, man, I have to get into this. I feel like there was one I listened to, and it felt like they were just reading shit that was already been out. It's not like their story and shit. I thought it was like true crime, like shit they witnessed, people witnessed and all that stuff. But it's like they're reading shit that happened in the newspaper, and they're like giving their opinion about it. I'm like, what the fuck? I could do that. I'm about to do fucking Newark, New Jersey crimes and just read shit off the newspaper. Like, it was 8:30 and Ramon was curious and he went through the window and he killed Kathy. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that shit, because that apparently those shits make tons of money because they have tons of subscribers and all that shit. So yeah, if you one day just see my face pop up and it says like Newark, New Jersey true crimes, that's me. It's your boy just trying to get some money out of this bullshit, you know, trying to get out of that fucking 9 to 5, whatever I'm doing right now, and just doing something different. That's goals. Hashtag goals. Anyway, speaking of goals, I hit my 30-minute mark. And just like the analytics, I'm going to end it here because you guys get tired of me after fucking 30 minutes. So, as always, ladies and gents, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. More listeners than watchers, and you guys gotta switch that, man. I want y'all to watch this shit, you know, because I'm gonna try, like right now I'm shooting this shit in 4K, so I want to, try different things and try to, get more with this video editing shit. So make sure you watch too, and there might be some funny shit up in here. I might try to start dancing in this motherfucker, bring out my moves, do all that shit, practice some kung fu kicks. I don't know. I'm gonna start doing some different shit, because I get bored doing the same shit. You guys know this. But anyways, like and subscribe, or don't. Just fucking watch it and enjoy it and tell me how much you enjoy it. And I will see you on the next one later.
Oh, don't be angry.
I'm not angry. I think it's funny.